Born in Jamaica, but based in Huddersfield and Germany. Used to be in the forces and stayed in Germany when he finished with the services.
This is a middleweight contest of 8 3-minute rounds. Between and introducing to you, in the red corner from Middlesbrough, Cornelius Carr.
So there's Cornelius Carr. Reached the middleweight final of the ABAs in '87 against Horace Fleary.
Horace Fleary is the German light
He still is the
champion.
German international light middleweight champion. In fact, it's not German light middleweight champion, Dudley. The international championship is in fact for non-Germans living and boxing in Germany. You could be Brazilian, Spanish, Italian, anything you'd like, even British, to become the international German champion. So, John Coyle referee. There's 8 3-minute rounds. And Horace Fleary, very experienced. He's fought them all. In fact, last fight was against Gary Jacobs, we've just seen defending the European title. Round 1 then. And Fleary, southpaw. And Cornelius Carr. He's got some very smart moves. Good puncher too. His record stands at 22 fights, 21 wins, only 1 loss, and that was on a cut. I do believe. Or was it? Beaten by Bucko George anyway. I think it was a cut. Boxed in the States as well, Cornelius Carr. In fact, he boxed twice. A couple of exhibitions in the Louisiana State Penitentiary. He won them both by knocking out his opponents. Then had a fight in Louisiana and one in Massachusetts. But some good wins on Carr's record. And I remember Horace Fleary, we showed it on Eurosport, in fact, tackling former European light middleweight champion Side Skuma, and he has Skuma very heavily on the floor in the final round, but lost on points in a very good losing effort. Carr, as an amateur, won a bronze medal in the multi-nations tournament in Sardinia in 1987, and was beaten by Rod Douglas in the ABA middleweight final of '87. Beat Henry Wharton as an amateur. And also Paul Wright. And Fleary's been around. Knows them all. First fought for his German international title. He boxed Nelson Alex Alves of Brazil, lost in 7 rounds in Dusseldorf in September '91. Eventually won it, beating Thomas Mathieu in 2 rounds in February of last year. Lost in a couple of rounds to Kevin Sheeran, very promising British light middleweight. But stopped Paul Wesley on a cut in 5. Also mixed it with the former European super middleweight champion, Frank Nicotra, and was disqualified after 6. One other name worth mentioning on the record of Horace Fleary from his early days was that of Frederick Stellier, the Frenchman going well at the moment, world rated. Fleary recently beaten by Robert McCracken. McCracken went the full route. Well, not a great deal in the opening round, possibly Cornelius Carr's. More eye-catching moves there from Carr, although the southpaw Fleary, he tried quite hard. Last win for Carr was against Dan King up in Sunderland. 7 stoppage wins there on his record, 26 years of age. Beat Carlo Colarusso a couple of times. Also stopped Frank Eubanks, and that's not easy to do. Kevin Haid down in Swansea was outpointed, and in his only his 4th fight he beat Keesum Clayton There you are, there's Fleary's record, 23 losses, but 15 wins, 9 stoppages, 32 years of age now. Cornered by Dave Davis, whoever he is. And I think he's managed by Greg Steen these days, Horace Fleary. So round 2 then of this middleweight contest. And Fleary will mix it with anyone from welterweight to super middleweight. And he's a dead ringer for the Fleary I knocked out back in 1975. Seems like forever ago now. And Cornelius Carr, a very solid, if unspectacular puncher. Although, of course, he's had his moments with 11 stoppage wins. Not normally a clean KO merchant. He did knock out a couple in the States, of course, or 4 in fact. But you've got to wonder about the calibre of those state penitentiary opponents. Nice hook from Carr. Short right as well. Yep, John Corliss, and you turned your back, it's your fault. He's right, of course, but equally he could have said to Carr, hey, that's ungentlemanly conduct. Put it this way, I wouldn't have done it. But in the heat of battle, we do all sorts of things. I would say that this one will be slated to go the full route, in fact, regardless of the difference in their records. Fleary, unless you're an exceptional puncher, he's not a bad survivor. Not much left in this second round. And there's the bell. In fact, another round for Cornelius Carr. And Fleary will be hard pushed, in fact, to win a round against Carr, who does raise his game well. And being trained now by Howard Rainey and Arthur Urry. Rainey, the only Sheffield United supporter I know. Slight swelling coming up on Carr's left eye there. But I'm sure Howard will contain that. Or Arthur. Always get those two mixed up. They look so similar. And Howard Rainey, of course, speaking glowingly of Carr's potential these days. We'll have to wait and see if he can fulfill it. I think he started his pro career off with Frank Warren. Into round 3 then, and Carr's taken the first 2, I think.
Right, step back. Stop holding. Nice right from Carr, short one that time.
Nice little sidestep from Cornelius. Or Corny, as he calls himself. Or John, if you want his real name. Little spin from Carr. Horace Fleary is not a devastating puncher, so the chance of him getting rid of a solid professional like Cornelius Carr is unlikely. And Carr has mixed it with some good punchers, the likes of Stan King and Graham Burton. They could hit, so could Frank Eubanks. And also Carlo Colarusso. So Carr has the ability to stand up, I think, to anything that Fleary can throw.
Right.
And conversely, of course, looks like Fleary's got the ability to stand up to anything that Carr can throw. And Fleary not too easy to hit with a solid direct shot. He defends quite well.
Right. Come on.
Once again, a round for Carr. So he's won the first three with little argument, I would say. And Dave Davis, they're probably trying to sell Horace Fleary a watch during the interval. And those of you who know him know what I mean. You've probably sold him the towel he's using. So round 4 of the scheduled 8-round super middleweight contest coming up.
Seconds up, round 4.
And Carr has taken the first 3. Some stiff resistance back from Horace Fleary, but nothing that Carr can't cope with.
Right. Step back.
And Fleary's the kind of man you can actually tire yourself out on. Put in a lot into your punches and just find them being absorbed by that ebony body, and suddenly, towards the end of the fight, you start to wonder where all your energy's gone, as Side Skooma did. And Fleary caught him smack on the chin, knocked him flying. Nice left hook from Carr. Born in Middlesbrough, up in the northeast of England. But these days, the 32-year-old Horace Fleary quite content to go the full route. He picks up the odd win here and there. It looks like Horace Fleary's gear now is very firmly stuck in survival mode. Not that there hasn't been any bother at all, but the ambition to win doesn't seem to be there. Well, there's wood on the fire, but the fire's gone out. As once again, Carr racks up another round. That's 4 gone, 4 to go. Not a scintillating fight, I think you'll agree. On a bit better direction from Carr on those replayed punches, and might have made a difference. So the halfway stage in round 5 of the scheduled 8 coming up.
Seconds out, round 5.
Cornelius Carr with his back to us, taking the first 4 rounds without too much trouble, although the first round was probably Fleary's best, and he didn't win that. So let's just hope, for Carr's sake anyway, that he's in good condition here, because this looks like it's going to go the full route, and he's still going to have to thump that body as it comes towards him. And being beaten in 2 rounds just goes to illustrate how good a puncher Kevin Sheeran must be. He doesn't show too many opponents much respect, just comes out bombing. And Fleary stopped a lot in the early part of his career, but really has learned how to take care of himself in good company as well. Just goes to show you're not beyond learning if you've got the right team behind you. Nice left hook. Once again, it was Fleary pulling away from the punch as it landed. These are nice combinations from Carr. Must be like thumping the heavy bag, though. Once again, around for Carr. I'd be quite surprised if Fleary does win any of these 8 rounds. There's that big, bulky body of Howard Rainey, and looks like Fleary's picked up a nick on the left eye now. They were administering the end swell very early on in this contest, but now it looks like he's nicked. Shouldn't be a problem, though. Good body shot in the replay. On the left hook follow-up. Of course, when you throw that right at the body, you're in a perfect position for the left hook to their chin. Just watch that. Bang.
Bonus 10 seconds.
Round 6, last 3 rounds then. If anything, Cornelius Carr is actually moving the wrong way against Horace Fleary. Should be moving to his own left. See Carr moving there straight on to that stronger left hand of Fleary's. I hate to see those fundamental errors made by experienced fighters. You don't go to your own right against the southpaw. Unless he's got a tremendous right hook or a brilliant jab. But even then you can slip on the outside of it. Strange. Or maybe Carr, it just doesn't like moving to his own left. Some fighters, of course, have these little quirks about them. But you think a man with Carr's obvious experience and ability were able to do something like that and not make that fundamental error of moving the wrong way. It's unintelligent and can be disastrous. Of course, Fleary isn't helping his cause. He's actually moving the way he wants to do, and Carr going along with it. And that's what Fleary's looking to do, get that big left hand across. And he's got much more chance of doing that with Carr moving to his right. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm sure you do. Fight fans aren't stupid, as I've seen by all your letters. Keep them coming. And I just might as well, at this point, reiterate on last night's competition I set you. I want to know who the 3 father and son combinations were who have held the British Championship. 3 father and son combinations who've held the British title. Doesn't matter what weight. And your answers, of course, to me at 85 Sussex Road, Watford, in Hertfordshire. Postcode WD2 5HR. And I'll read out the winners next week. And of course, the first 3 correct entries will get one of those Eurosport pins, and very sexy they are too. So coming to the end of round 6. And although Fleary's had some success in that round, still Carr's for me. Welcome back. We've got the penultimate round coming up. Round 7 of the scheduled 8, and Cornelius Carr so far hasn't dropped a single round, in my opinion. 26 years of age against a 32-year-old Horace Fleary. Carr beaten just once in 22 fights. Fleary beaten just 23 times in, I think, 38, or, oh no, what was it, in 38. 23 times in 38. 15 wins, though. It looks like a shutout for Carr, this one. Although, as I say, he's had to be forced to rally a few times, with Fleary coming on strongly on occasion. Referee John Coyle. I remember him when he had hair. whilst Cornelius Carr goes about his business, just remember that his new trainer, Howard Rainey, actually fought, I think, Billy Wells a couple of times. Or was it Bruce Wells? It might have been Bombardier Wells, for all I know. He's, yes, thought it just occurred to me. And whilst there's nothing too spectacular happening here, John Coyle, the referee, was voted the WBA Official of the Year, I think on 2 occasions. And every time you work for the WBA, they give you a nice watch and a ring, I believe. And around then for Carr. Some of them have been quite close. In fact, I wouldn't be at all surprised if John Coyle has given the consolation of a couple of even rounds to Horace Fleary, or even one against Carr. So now there's another cut appeared, this time much more central, on the corner of the eyebrow nearest the bridge of the nose. And Howard Rainey, also a very keen fisherman, match fisherman. So the 8th and final round coming up.
Seconds out, 8th and final round.
And I do believe we've got one more contest for you after this. Let's hope it's a bit livelier. And don't forget, Fleary had side Skuma, the former European champion, on the deck in the final round. And he might just pour all the big guns into this last 3 minutes. Sometimes Fleary is as tight as a clam. You just can't seem to break him open. He doesn't fall for a dummy either. And he's certainly looking for the big one here against Carr, and he just needs to keep his composure and concentration. Never an easy fight. You can't relax against Horace Fleary, because if he notices a chink in the armour, he starts going to work. And once again, it's Fleary who had a pretty bright start and having a pretty bright finish, but Carr has controlled this one all the way. And I think personally it's going to be 80-76 in his favour, which means it's 8 rounds to 0. It doesn't, of course, do credit to Fleary's contribution, but that's the way I sees it. Wouldn't be any surprise to me if John Coyle saw it the same way, although he might just feel like being generous and giving something to Fleary. In fact, he may well have given him the share of the first and this last, but we'll wait and see. All over now. Where's he going to go? Obviously. Yes, gone for Cornelius Carr. Right, all we wait now is the score. Well, that's a pretty satisfactory win for Carr. Hasn't fought since May. As I say, 80-76 on my card, 8 rounds to 0. We're going to have one more contest for you after this, and I believe that's going to be Dean Hollington in action against Marco Callahan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee.
Here we go.
Scored the contest. Cornelius Carr, 79.5 points.
Okay, one against him.
Horace Fleary, 77 points.
Oh, that's interesting. One round against him and one even. Stay with us for a bit more action.
Your applause for the loser. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.